And welcome to a special edition of a VSA Tech and Transitional Energy podcast, live from the Dubai Airshow. And I've got David Keene, the CEO of Aurrigo, who is out here with me. David, how are you doing?
Oh, not too bad, actually, Andrew.
Enjoying the Airshow?
Well, it's hot, but I'm surprised we can hear anything, actually, with the F-16s, F-35s and everything else going over our heads. But it's one of the best shows I've ever been to, I can tell you that. Fantastic.
Yeah, it is quite noisy, but we're live and we just thought we'd have a quick chit-chat. But now let's start off with, I mean, we all like aeroplanes and you're in the aviation industry, but why Dubai?
Well, it's one of the locations around the world that we're super interested in, mainly because they are super interested in what we've got. They're super interested in autonomous vehicles, and of course they're building what will be the biggest airport in the world. 5 runways, 260 million passengers, and if there's one thing they need is automation, and I think we've got a solution for it.
400 gates. You've got to get those bags around 400 gates. Autonomous vehicles is the answer, isn't it?
It is, and not just 400 gates, but all those passengers, but all that cargo. And of course, we're not just in moving passenger bags around, we're moving cargo. They need to move employees. I don't know the number of employees, but I heard a figure of 175,000 employees. A lot of those have got to be moved around the airport. And then you've got all the security factors. So we've got a lot of products and a lot of tech that, although it's a few years away, these guys have got to move quickly. And if there's one thing they can do, is they move quickly.
And it's not just Dubai airports, is it? You've been meeting with Donata, who are the ground handling agents, Emirates Airlines, and actually quite a few funds that are involved in technology, because Abu Dhabi is really into autonomy. So you've had a pretty busy schedule of meetings.
We have, yeah. It's my first time actually in Dubai itself, because normally I'm just transitioning on my way down to our office in Singapore or other locations. So first time I've been outside the office, and wow, it's just all go. The only thing I don't like is the traffic jams. There's too much traffic.
I'm not a big... Actually, talking of Singapore, you were in Singapore last week, and I have noticed every time I say the word Singapore, and even when you said it then, your face just lights up with smiles.
I love Singapore.
You obviously had a good week there last week.
We had an excellent week. I just love Singapore. I've got a lot of history. My father was based in Singapore. I grew up with pictures of him, you know, going around in his military outfits. I first went to Singapore myself in the 80s. It's just got a lot of history for me personally, and we were introduced to the Singapore team at Changi Airport back in 2019, and we've been working with them ever since. So 6 years of developing all sorts of tech for them, and they are our most advanced customer so far.
So they've already got product, haven't they? How many auto dollies have they got out there?
They got 6. They've had them. Some of them they've had so long. They've had Mark 1s and Mark 2s, and we're now on the Mark 3s. So we've actually repatriated one of the Mark 1s, and having done its time, it's come back, and it's my little museum piece now. So it's interesting that even in our tech, it just goes so fast. But they've got really 6 vehicles, but 4 of them are really important because they're working as a team, as a small fleet, and that fleet is really the forerunner of how do you scale from 4 to 10 to 100 to 500, and that's what we're working on.
And I mean, obviously you can't say anything that's not in the public markets, but your smile, I think, tells you that you're progressing quite rapidly down that route, which is actually incredibly exciting.
Yeah, obviously I can't say too much, but they are pushing us really hard to really get to the point where we've got a production solution. And when I say that, it's not just the vehicle itself, it's all about how do we integrate it into their computer systems for allocating the bags and the containers that hold those bags. And then how do we integrate with all the other stakeholders? You know, there's a lot of stakeholders at an airport. Not least, you know, the insurance and legality of running it, the Civil Aviation Authority, all the way down to the fire crews and the fire engines. And what happens if it breaks down? How do we tow it? You know, there's all these things, and it's not just getting an autonomous vehicle to go around the airport. You've got to tick off all the stakeholders, and of course, one of the biggest ones is cyber resilience, cyber security. That's a really big one. The last thing you want is, you know, a 15-year-old on the airport hacking into all your vehicles and stopping them. And we've spent a lot of time on that. We've built what is effectively banking / crypto level security into the vehicles, and we've had that independently checked as part of this project, and I'm very pleased to say we've come through that.
And look, we everybody is at this air show. We've actually just had a meeting with Cincinnati Airport, who obviously, again, it's public. You've got product there. I mean, that was a pretty impressive meeting, wasn't it? I mean, they're basically saying, give us more product.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just had a meeting with the head of innovation for Cincinnati Airport, who is a massive advocate of ours. And we've got product there. We've had it there for some time. Great thing about Cincinnati Airport is it is a huge airport in terms of acreage, and it is a fantastic sandpit for us to develop the product. And one of the biggest things that we've done there is we've been able to develop the vehicles such that they can cross a live taxiway now without any manual intervention. And I can't begin to tell the listeners how complicated that is to do, and we've cracked it. And it's just another of those technical advances that we have done in the whole process of getting this productionized.
You know, so you've got there clearly three areas around the world really want to develop. I mean, just quickly, what I call the TAM. You know, I love my TAM.
I love TAM.
But I mean, there are so many. Even if you just took the top 500 airports in the world, you're talking massive numbers here, aren't you? I mean, it's billions and billions of dollars.
It is, yes. And of course, the airports, as we speak, are being completed and built out. And we started out with back in 2018, we thought 500 airports. I think that market is up to now nearly 700 airports. And we haven't even entered the Indian market, the Chinese market. You know, we've been focusing on UK, Europe, North America and Southeast Asia. And here we are now with a bit more bandwidth and a bit more capital behind us, and we can look at the Middle East now seriously, and that's why we've been having these great discussions at the air show.
And I mean, sustainability, they actually have a stand, Dubai Airport sustainability stand with demonstrations of how they can do it. And I mean, you are a key part of that. You are a classic tick in the box ESG company.
We are. You have your Transitional Energy podcast, and the clue's in the title. This is about transitioning from what has predominantly been a diesel-based industry to something that is clean tech. But that brings big challenges. You know, that these are all electric and electric autonomous vehicles eventually, and that takes a lot of power, and it takes a lot of modelling of how that power is applied, and you know, intelligent charging, putting the right chargers in the right place for peak and low demand. So there's a lot of elements to bringing this tech to airports, but I think we're in a really exciting time, massive inflection point, and even I thought. I didn't even think we would be at this point because I didn't think the market would accelerate as fast as it has, and everyone is talking about it. Even going around this show, the word autonomous is like synonymous with virtually every single stand here at the show, and so people are talking about it and now they want it, and that's where we are. We're right products, right tech, and it's absolutely the right time.
And I mean, the interesting thing is, I mean, I've been coming to some of these meetings, and these are huge companies you're talking with. Not being rude, you're still quite a small little company in the UK based in Coventry. I mean, You know, we've been discussing, if only you're in San Francisco, you'd be $1 billion company already. Yeah. I mean, how do you see that transition from, you know, £60 million company today to the £1 billion company that you're clearly going to become? And I can say that. This is a podcast, so...
Excellent, thank you. I think the answer to that is what we've always done, which is working in partnership with people. You know, you can't just come to the Middle East, for instance, and rock up and start doing things. You need to have partners because it's a complicated market. You know, I could do this market myself, but it'll take me 25 years to work out the political ins and outs, who to talk to, how to. You know, relationship building. So what you do is you find partners. And one of the things we're at this show to do is to find those quality partners, because I don't think it's about the money. I think we can raise the money. I think it's about who we raise it with and how they can accelerate what we're doing.
And also how you raise it. Because I think one of the key things we're getting, and actually the people we're talking to get this completely, don't put the money in the PLC.
Yeah.
Invest it locally, so that it's building up the local hub and it doesn't dilute you down. And they all want to do that. They want to build locally because they've got the facilities, they can do low-cost manufacturing, they've got all the right connections. I mean, it almost sounds like a dream too good to be true, but it's actually it is happening, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and a lot of these regions, there's a lot of pressures around the market with tariffs and all sorts of things that are happening around the world at the moment, and not least, building vehicles and then shipping them all the way around the world. That's not what we're here to do. And in the Middle East, as it is in Asia and in North America, they want that sovereign capability. They want their own people, they want their own manufacturing, they wanted to support their own operations in country. And I think that model that we have spent a lot of time coming up with has really, sat well with the conversations we've been having with people. And they get very excited then that they're actually investing into their own territory. So this is all about us potentially transitioning to a model where we are a tech and an enabler of tech and a licensing modelling deal, and we then have great partners who can deliver it in the markets, and that's how we go from 60 million market cap to $1 billion. That's what we want.
I think that's a great note to end on. This was just a quick soundbite live from Dubai. I think you're going to go and fly an F-35 now, David. So I'll let you go and do that, but I'm sure we'll be speaking again soon. Many thanks.
Andrew. Cheers.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.